All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today I want to do the daily Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner update. We cover the Bitcoin miners a lot on this channel, so if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. And everybody, please smash the like button and feel free to leave a comment below. Bitcoin had a huge day yesterday, and it's pretty steady today. So I want to look at the big board of Bitcoin miners first, and then we'll look at the Bitcoin chart, and then we'll go to a few specific Bitcoin miners and take a look at their charts. If you look at the Bitcoin miner big board, you will see that it is mostly red. There are a few green, and most of the green aren't even up 1%. There is one outlier, and that is Iris Energy. Now, Iris Energy is up 6.5% today, so everybody had a very big green day yesterday, and Iris was down 3.5%. So now today, for whatever reason, we have the exact reverse situation. So we have either a sideways or a down day, and Iris is making up for whatever it was that happened yesterday. Other than that, you can see almost everything on the board is plus or minus 0 or 1 or 2%. There are no real standouts on the board. I will mention Riot and Marathon are a little bit green, and they continue to have a very strong run. Those are two of the three big market cap stocks in this section. And of course, they're still very small market caps at $2 or $3 billion. But they are the largest ones in the sector, along with Core Scientific. So I'll leave the board up there for a minute, and you guys can find the miners that you are interested in. Again, not much activity. There's still about an hour and a half left in the trading day today. So, if there's a breakout of some sort, one way or the other, then this board will likely change. These are not the final numbers for the day, but this is where we sit, and it's basically where we've sat all day long. I'm going to start out with Bitcoin on the 1-day time frame. So each one of these candles represents 1 day. This is basically the year 2022. And the reason I wanted to start out on this time frame is this green line right here starts on January 2nd, 2022. That was Bitcoin's high for the year of 2022. So since January 2nd, we have not been back to this green line until yesterday. This candle wicked up to the line yesterday but closed below it. Today we seem to be doing the same thing. So we're getting a little bit of resistance, although we are still having forward momentum. This is 8 green days in a row if we close green today. So that is a very big run. We have passed a lot of lines of resistance that were giving us trouble all year long. The biggest one was this one at about 45,700. That dated all the way back to January 5th. And now this green line dates back to January 2nd, and it is the high of 2022. So if we can break above this line, we can be where we have not been in the year 2022 and hopefully continue this bull run upward. There is starting to be some pressure. Bitcoin is overbought with, 8 green days in a row. It is no surprise that we find ourselves in a little bit of an overbought situation. We'll look at that in a minute. Now I'm going to zoom all the way into the 30-minute chart. So this is Bitcoin on the 30-minute chart. Each one of these candles represents 30 minutes. So this is a close-up look, basically, of the last 2 or 3 days. So you can see here on March 27th, 2 days ago, we really rallied up in a big way. We crossed this line of resistance that had been giving us trouble all year. We went way past that and ran up to this green line that we were just talking about, which is the high on the year, which is just, by the way, just under $48,000. So if we could get a nice close above $48,000, that would be a good signal. That would be a step forward. But like I said, we are having some pressure. We're a little bit overbought right now. So I want to take a look at that for a minute. Okay, so this is back to Bitcoin on the 1-day time frame. This is that wedge pattern that we were looking at. And you can see this was providing resistance all year long this year. And then we had, on March 23rd, a very clear breakout. We're up 12% above what is now this line of support should we go back and test it, and hopefully we will not go back and test it. So you can see we've clearly broken out of this pattern that we were stuck in all of 2022. And we're headed to the upside. So the next significant thing, if we can get past the 48,000 mark, what I wanted to show you that basically the next significant stop is about $52,000. And we got to $52,000 on December 27th. And if you've watched the channel, that's a date I go back to all the time because that was kind of a local high for Bitcoin, and for almost all the Bitcoin miners reached a little bit of a high point on that day. And again, remember, please, nothing goes up in a straight line. I mean, we have 8 days in a row of pretty much a straight line up. We are overdue some type of at least sideways activity, if not a little pullback before we can start running. Okay, so this is the RSI on the daily time frame, and you can see this same wedge pattern was working on the RSI on the 1-day time frame all year. And we broke out of this wedge pattern the same day we broke out of the wedge pattern on the Bitcoin chart, and it's been straight up since there. But now we have now reached over 70 on RSI, which is starting to be considered overbought. It has gotten higher than this. Back on October 19th, this was all the way up near 78. So it can go higher. You know, 70 is not a brick wall, but you can start to see we've had a massive straight run up. So there's going to be some pressure to at least have a little sideways activity to have some of these reset. This is the MACD. Again, we had that crossover on March 15th. We've been going up ever since. You can see on the histogram with these green lines, our momentum continues to go up. So the MACD looks very healthy. It still looks like we've got a lot of room left in this bull run potentially. Looking at this chart right here, I would not be surprised to see a little bit of sideways activity or a little bit of a pullback. So I would not get distressed if you're seeing that. I do think it is crucial that we hold this purple line, you know, at around 45.5 or 45.7. I don't think we're going to go back and test that, but if we do, that would be a critical line of support that we need to hold. Okay, I want to go to a few of the charts in specific. I want to start out with RIOT blockchain. This is RIOT on the 4-hour time frame. So you can see this white line was the low that RIOT hit on September 29th after the bear run in September. So each one of these charts I've put a white line on because that line was pretty much the low for 2021, and it held as support all the way through until late December. Bitcoin was trading at about $41,000 when RIOT hit this white line back in September on September 29th. So you can see Bitcoin is now trading at around $47,500, pushing $48,000, and we're still not back to this white line. RIOT has significantly increased its exahash that it's running right now, and Bitcoin is significantly higher than it was when RIOT was at this line. So as is the case with most of the miners, I feel they are all in an oversold position. And again, please remember, this is not financial advice. I'm showing you guys these charts. I'm giving you my opinions, and I will give you a couple of price targets that I'm looking at, but please do your own due diligence and make your own buying decisions. It's your money. So on one hand, from the January 24th low until now, which is basically 2 months, RIOT has performed very well. It's up 74%. Which is a nice run. The problem is it was so beaten down, this stock went down so much along with all the other Bitcoin miners that even a 74% increase in 2 months doesn't bring it back to this line of support from last year, which was really its low of the year last year. So it is my opinion that there is still a lot of room left to run on RIOT, and they have been performing operationally very well in my opinion. Their stock has been performing very strong. So I think this one will keep running. So if I zoom out a little, if I go to December 2nd, which was the day before the flash crash for Bitcoin, and that is really the day most of the Bitcoin miners started to tank, and you can see they really just went down in a straight line to the bottom, and then they've been sideways, and now they're starting to make their comeback. So if I go back to this date, and Bitcoin was at about 56,000 on this date, that would be almost a 50% increase in the stock price of RIOT. So I think that's a reasonable price target over the next few months, as long as Bitcoin can stay on its current trajectory. The other number that I would look at is on November 15th, RIOT hit $46. This was its local high. This was not its 52-week high. It actually got much higher than this on the first run back in February and March and April. But I'm going to ignore that as a potential bubble and just look at this price. This was when Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 69,000. So RIOT would have to go up 100%. That would pretty much be an exact double to get back to where it was when Bitcoin was at its high of 69,000. And remember, as time goes by, Riot is drastically increasing their exahash rate in which they're mining Bitcoin. So I think, again, for the year 2022, to me, this seems like an extremely realistic price target. Let's look at one more. This is CORZ. I wanted to take a look at this one because they will report earnings after hours today. CORZ, in my mind, has underperformed. This is its whole chart. It just converted from a SPAC back on January 20th, so it's only been trading for a few months, and you'll see it's pretty much just been trading sideways. It did hit a high of $11.52. It hit $5.86 back on January 24th when all the Bitcoin miners hit their low. It did almost retest that in March again. So this stock is very oversold in my opinion. It hasn't got its footing under it yet from converting to a SPAC. Most of those conversions, the stocks have been punished, but if you do the math, this is by far the biggest Bitcoin mining company, yet it's not the largest market cap. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into that, and profitability is one of them. We're going to get their financial statements after hours today. But I suspect that this stock has a lot of room to run. To get back to its high back on February 9th, which was a month and a half ago, that would be a 35% increase. I put a price target at $15. I think that is fairly conservative for a 1-year price target. So this would be by the end of the year 2022. And they're looking to have over 20 exahash up and running of their own mining, in addition to hosting another 20 exahash of mining. So this is a gigantic company, and they have a lot of upside potential. So it's a very new stock. It's hard to put a number on it, but for me personally, I'm putting a $15 price target on this for the year 2022, and that's what I'm shooting for in my head. So again, this is a brand new traded stock. This is totally untested, so there's massive volatility and almost no track record. So please do your own due diligence and be careful if you're investing in this stock. That's all I've got for you today on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.